Have you ever met someone who seems to be improving every single month, while you feel like you're in the same exact place you were last year? Yeah, awkward question. But be honest, it hurts a little, doesn't it? Because deep inside, you know you could do more. You could be better. You could live a completely different life 10 years from now, if you just changed one habit. And today, that's exactly what we're talking about. Not 10 habits, not 50 routines, just one habit. The kind of habit that quietly rewires your future without you even noticing. So let me ask you something simple. What if the next 10 years of your life could change, not from a huge miracle, but from one small habit you start today? Sounds crazy, right? But stay with me. The habit, daily 1% improvement. Yeah, I know. It doesn't sound flashy. It doesn't come with fireworks. It won't give you superpowers or a six-pack by tomorrow morning. But this one habit has built millionaires, authors, athletes, and people who used to be average but became unstoppable. It's simple. Do one small thing every day that makes you just 1% better than yesterday. Not 100% better. Not change your life in 24 hours better. Just 1%. Think of it like dropping one coin into a jar daily. At first, the jar looks sad, empty, pathetic. You might look at it and think, why am I even doing this? But come back next month, suddenly there's something inside. Come back in a year, now it's heavy. Come back in 10 years, that same jar could buy you a house. Your improvement works the same way. Slow, invisible, boring even. Until one day, boom. People look at you and ask, how did you get so good? And you smile like a mysterious monk who knows the secret to life. Why this habit works like magic, even though it looks tiny. Because 1% a day compounds. Kind of like interest in the bank. Except instead of growing money, it grows you. You don't need motivation that lasts forever, just enough motivation for today. You don't need a full plan, just a step. You don't need to transform into a genius. You only need to become slightly smarter than yesterday. That's it. Small improvements repeated daily, unstoppable results later. Imagine this. 1% a day for 30 days equals you feel a tiny change. 90 days equals you start seeing progress. 1 year equals you don't recognize yourself. 10 years equals you become someone other people admire. It's slow like a seed. Nothing happens at first. But give it time, and you have a tree that gives shade, fruit, growth, stability. 10 years from now, your future self could literally thank you for starting today. Or they could look at you and say, really? 10 years, and we're still doing nothing. Kind of depressing. Let's avoid that version. How to practice the 1% habit without stressing your brain. Here's the beauty of it. You don't need to start big. No waking up at 4 a.m. No drinking lemon ginger turmeric spirit water. No trying to read 50 books a month. Just ask yourself, what is one small thing I can do today that improves me by 1%? Sometimes 1% looks like reading for 10 minutes, doing 5 push-ups, learning one new word, writing one paragraph, practicing a skill for 15 minutes, saving a tiny amount daily, replacing one bad decision with a better one. That's it. You don't have to be perfect. You don't need to feel motivated. You just need to show up a little every single day. The funny thing about progress is, nobody claps for you at the start. Nobody sees the effort. Nobody notices the tiny steps. 10 days in, nothing changes. 30 days in, still nothing major. People around you might even think you're wasting time. But at 6 months, suddenly you're sharper. You're calmer. You're stronger. You speak better. You think better. Your future starts taking shape like a photo coming into focus. And the same people who doubted you will say, wow, you're so lucky. Lucky? Really? Sure, if luck is spelled W-R-K. Let me give you a soft warning. There's something dangerous about this habit. The same tiny daily improvements that build success have an evil twin. Tiny daily declines. Eating junk today doesn't ruin your health. Scrolling for 5 hours doesn't ruin your brain overnight. Skipping goals just for today feels harmless. But repeat it for 10 years. And that's how life silently falls apart. The future you get is shaped by the tiny choices you repeat, not the ones you do once in a while. Small improvements equal success over time. Small neglect equals failure over time. Your future is literally being built by invisible daily habits. Let's paint 2 different futures. Version A, 1% worse each day. You wake up, scroll, postpone plans, skip learning, skip health, skip growth. Days feel the same. Years pass quietly. One morning you realize nothing changed. You're older, but not better. Version B, 1% better each day. You read. You learn. You practice. You grow. Some days you don't feel it, but you still show up. Years pass, and your results become impossible to ignore. One habit, two futures. Which door you walk through is your choice. And here's the twist people don't tell you. You don't need to become a completely new person to change your life. You just need to start improving, even if slowly. The goal isn't to be perfect. It's to be consistent enough that the future becomes something exciting, not something you fear. 1% today, 1% tomorrow, 1% next week. You won't notice the difference now, but your future self will. 10 years from now, you could be smarter than you ever imagined, healthier and more confident, financially stable, skilled and respected, living a life you once dreamed of. And when someone asks how you did it, you'll smile and say, I just improved a little bit every day. No magic, no genius, just consistency. So here's your moment, right now, while you're watching this. Not tomorrow, not someday, not when life magically gets easier. Start small today, read a little, learn a little, practice a little, be 1% better. Because that tiny decision might be the difference between who you are today and who you could be 10 years from now. And trust me, the future version of you is waiting. Don't keep them waiting too long.